There, there's our chairperson right there. Thank you everyone for being here this evening and sharing your practice. It's pretty special and it is appreciated. As we get started here, I would invite Moni, our board chair, and Teiko, our treasurer, and our teachers, Joshin and Shintai, to share some thoughts about the state of the Sangha and Wy'East in general, where we've been, how it's going for you, and where you see us going in the future. So, Moni, if you'd like to start off, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. I'm having some technical problems. Can you, I can't, I've got an echo. I need to log out of my iPad. I'm confused.
Well, you know what? We can come back to you later. Excellent. Thank you. Teiko, how about you?
Did you want a treasurer's report? Or
Well, if you just give us something, not with numbers, but a general overview of if we are moving in a good direction, bad direction. How's our membership looking? What might we want or expect in this coming year?
well, being treasurer, I am incapable of not giving you numbers. I must give you numbers. Don't you guys want to know numbers? I won't even give you long numbers. I mean, I had like 15 minutes worth of numbers to give you, but I'll spare you that. But our current balance is $35,826.33. We came in very close to our projected budget for 2024. I won't show you the draft 2025 projected budget because Muji doesn't want me to. You'd be bored, and the board hasn't approved it yet. So, but it'll be. We did come in pretty close to our projections. Total. Let me just show you a pie chart because they're fun, right? Hang on. Oh, you don't want to see that pie chart. This is 2024 total expenses. As you can see, mostly Donna, and this big light blue is a graphic designer that we contracted with to design a logo for us. Insurance is a big one, but it's, I think, maybe going down next year. This was Sangha appreciation. We loved the ball caps, but they were kind of expensive. The rent is not very much because we have a lovely, generous landlady. So that's basically expenses. Excuse me a minute. Our income chart is cute. Here's our, oh. Sure. Here's our cute income chart. As you can see, our $35,000 is completely from donations and viewers like you. So we are still in the process of investigating rental spaces. We would have to have quite a bit more membership donations to actually afford membership spaces. So, you know, we should talk about that with the Sangha. As it is, our landlady charges us $25 every time we meet at the yoga studio, which is once a month, and it's a lovely space, and you know, it does us fine for now, especially with Monica's wonderful upgrades to that. So financially, we're good. I could show you some more cool charts about how much we've profit and loss for the last 5 years, but we're doing fine. It's just a matter of where the Sangha wants to go in the future as far as property. Questions? If you guys want more detail, we could put the pie charts in the newsletter, I guess. Did I leave anything out that's big? Questions?
No, that sounds pretty good. We are solvent. We are holding steady, if not going up a little bit. And it sounds like we have the capacity and the flexibility to engage in what the Sangha might deem valuable.
We are definitely increasing our bank account in a pretty steady way. So we do have a positive change with that. And another thing the board has been discussing is we're in a regular bank account with pretty much zero interest. We're looking for a higher yield place to put that money.
How is our membership level looking? Are we decreasing, increasing, or holding steady?
Well, I'm not really in charge of that, but just from what I see, pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
I think we have 25 paying members, something like that.
Good. Monica, Moni, how is your technology working now?
I think it's okay. I wasn't, for some reason I missed that we were starting this at 7. So I have like a whole routine that I do on Wednesday, and I was not prepared to sign in for this right at 7. So sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wrote something up. I'm Monica, and I am the board, the Wy'East Zen Center board chair. I was just elected in October. It's kind of weird to be in this position. I was just thinking about that and how Joran was our chair for many years. So it's just kind of weird to like not have Joran as the chair. But so I'm working myself into this, this position and feeling the trying to figure it out. I wasn't sure exactly what to talk about, but I thought maybe I'd just give a little bit of background. So the Wy'East Zen Center has been around since 2010, and I think I started coming the third meeting. It was started by Joran and Takeo at Mount Hood Hospice, and we met in person every week. We started out as just a small sitting group of like 5 of us, and kind of had the same structure that we have now in many ways. We read a chapter of a book after we meditated and discussed the book, and it's kind of been the same way ever since, aside from having teachers come and give Dharma talks and some of the other things that we've added in here too. So we've met. So then I can't remember quite when Shintai and Joshin joined us, but I don't think it was long after we started. I think it was maybe 3 years, 2 years after we started meeting. And yeah, so that's kind of how we're plugging along really well, meeting in person once a week at Mount Hood Hospice. And then we moved to Celtic Spirit Yoga, I would say 2017 or 2018, when Mount Hood Hospice sold the building that we were meeting in, and continued meeting in person weekly there until the pandemic, when we all started meeting on Zoom. And so we've kind of sort of shifted into meeting primarily on Zoom since then. During the pandemic, we added 2 more weekly meetings. So we now have Meta Mondays, and we have Just Sitting Sundays. Meta Mondays are led by Shintai. Just Sitting Sundays are led by Joran. Those are also through Zoom. And then we started meeting in person again. I want to say it was in 2022, but I honestly can't remember. But we started meeting in person once a month at the Sandy Public Library. And then we couldn't meet at the Sandy Public Library, so we started meeting at, well, actually, it was more like when Celtic Spirit opened up again, we decided to move there once a month. And so that's where we are now. We're meeting in person once a month on Wednesdays. And we also have Zoom as an option on those Wednesdays. And we're sort of working to get the Zoom set up kind of better, like for our in-person meetings, so that the people who call in will have a good experience. I think that our goal is to try to meet weekly in person again eventually. I think that in our discussions, I think we kind of realized that maybe we would get more people if we had something that was in person consistently. And because we do get new people when we meet in person, they know that we are somehow they find us. They see an advertisement in a newspaper. They've seen our sign out or something, and they come to our in-person meeting, and then we never see them again. so I think the goal is to try to get to that point where we can meet in person again weekly. So we have that consistency for people who are trying to find us. And we, like Teiko has said, we are talking about getting our own space, so that the problem with meeting more than once a month is that we don't have a space at Celtic Spirit to store our things, and we have quite a lot of things to store. And we just don't have a closet to store our things anymore. So we have to kind of, so Teiko stores our stuff when we're not meeting, and then she has to bring it to our in-person meetings every time. And so it's a little bit too much to do that more than once a month. So if we had our own space, then we wouldn't have to do that. We would have a place to just keep our stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, I hope that's what you wanted me to say, but I thought that's what anyway, that's all I have to say. Is there any questions about any of that? Okay. So thanks, you guys.
Oh. Thank you, Moni. Shintai, would you like to share some thoughts?
I would love to share some thoughts. Thank you for the kind invitation. How lovely to see all of you filling up my screen, and I think it's great for us to gather and kind of reflect on our group. And in preparation for this, thinking about the role of the teacher and how that fits into all of this, and thinking it's a good question to hold. So thinking of the broad role of the teacher, of supporting everyone, members, anyone that joins us in growing in their understanding of the Dharma, and how that can apply to their life and support them and be expressed in their lives. A little bit more specifically, also to support the mission of this group, and how the Dharma can be expressed in an organization and in our lives in so many ways, and it can be a challenge to focus that, because there's so many ways that you can go. So I think that's still part of part of what's ahead for us is to continue to focus how we want to make the Dharma available to other people. And I'm happy to support that effort. And for me specifically, my Dharma offering has been focused the last couple of years on offering metta practice. And my hope with that is to help us all cultivate, one of the Brahma Viharas of loving kindness. And boy, I don't know about you, but this last couple of weeks, I am really glad to have a grounding in our practice and trying to stay centered, and even little bits of opening the heart of compassion to every all of us, that we are so, as a culture right now, kind of gripped in fear a lot. So anyway, I digress, but all that is looping into, hopefully this humble offering on Monday can offer whoever finds the group one tool for opening the heart. So that is, that's my thoughts at the moment.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Let that sink in just for a moment. And Joshin, would you care to share any of your thoughts? And thank you for making time on a work day. This is your schedule is, I appreciate how that all worked out.
Yeah, I'm not in robes tonight, because when we're done here, I'm dashing off for a night shift. I have a lot of gratitude for this group. I have a lot of gratitude for this group. And you all might not know it. Maybe some of you remember it. But when I was invited to come and help out, I wasn't a teacher yet. I was just a little black robe monk. And there were requests that came from you all for Sanzen from time to time. And at that point, not being a teacher, wasn't my role to do that, didn't have the authority to do that. And when that got mentioned to my teacher, Kyogen, he said, well, it's time you learned. So you all were my training ground for Sanzen, whether you knew that or not. And you all very significantly helped form me as a teacher. So I just want to acknowledge that, and acknowledge that sense of both connection and time. This group has been together for a good chunk of years, and we've got lots of connections, and I appreciate those very much. And like in terms of the role of a teacher, there's so much suffering in the world. And my hope as a teacher is just to share what I've learned from my teacher, and hope that those little seeds that are strewn find a way to find some nurturing ground and grow and bear fruit. The Dharma is so much bigger than all of us, and yet we all have access to it. And my hope as a teacher is to encourage you towards accessing that, encourage you towards both practice as body and also practice as mind, training the mind. My intention right now is to increase the Dharma talks I'm offering and aim for those every couple of weeks. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I have the stamina for that, and we'll see if the Sangha has the stamina for that. And I'm always open to feedback. My schedule is chaotic, working an odd schedule at the hospital, and also working with folks at Dharma Rain and working with the Wy'East Sangha. So there's a lot there, but my practice intention is to keep myself resourced enough that I can be a resource for others. So I will be taking care of myself, no worries. And in terms of Sangha growth, I'm less interested in growing in size and more interested in deepening in like wisdom and understanding, deepening in practice, deepening in our capacity to care for ourselves and care for each other and care for the wider world. And that's reflected in our mission statement. So I think those are my words for tonight from the role of this particular teacher. And I'm curious to see how we collectively step forward.
Thank you. Yes, where are we and how do we step forward? So our gathering tonight had two intentions. One was for the board and the teachers to be able to share with the Sangha where we were, where we saw ourselves going. In case these times, they are unsettled, and that ripples out through all of our lives. And this is a good opportunity for us to check in and communicate and say, this is where we are. This is where we see ourselves going. We are also concerned with how the Sangha is, what is working for you and what is not working for you. This is an opportunity for everyone to have a voice and share, share how things are landing with them. Be it on Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, what our activities are. Let's see, what did I write down? What interests us in the future in terms of our in-person meetings, our Zoom meetings, what has worked for us or what we would like to see in terms of Dharma talks, book or sutra, book studies, sutra readings. How about retreats? Full day, half day, supporting Brightway in a joint session, in Zoom or in person. Granted, I'm going to roll a lot of stuff out here, so just grab on to what interests you as it goes by. Let the rest roll off. Term student programs, or other. This is the floor is open to everything. Our community involvement as a Sangha, be it in adopting a road or being involved in Sandy events like Sandy. Is it Sandy Days? What is the event?
It's the
Sandy
Mountain Festival, Sandy Mountain Festival.
Sandy Mountain Festival. I bet you Brightway or Brightwood has something, or Welch's has something too. I don't know. I don't live there. But if they did, we could. Our newsletter, Informal Sons, and everything is, you know, all of these things. How's it going? Where would you like, you know, how's it working? How's by you? And feel free to jump in. We're not going to go around the room in any particular order. What say you?
I personally would like to have a little bit more retreats. Maybe, you know, 1 day retreats. I don't know how that would look, and I think our last one out at Oral Hall was great. I don't know, you know, I don't know about the finances and if everybody's able to do that, but I would love to do that. Brightway, we're doing the Wy'East Brightway. I just got called yesterday or got an email yesterday on the one that's coming up in April. The week-long session. So I think for me, I would really like to see some more retreats, I think. Even if they're just full day. I don't know if a half a day for me, I don't know if I would prefer a full day.
Oh,
So that's kind of my input as far as the retreats go or sessions or
that is very good to know. Whether folks prefer the 1 day or the half day. Some people, you know, half day is the way they go. Whether on Zoom, in person, or both.
I think we need better outreach for retreats. We've had a couple scheduled that we had to cancel because we just didn't reach enough people, I guess. Um, we need, I don't know what the minimum number is, like 7 or 8, I think. So we just need to figure out better outreach for these events.
I think it gives us an opportunity too, like karaoke. We just don't get to practice that stuff very often, and so it feels so foreign when we come back together if we haven't done it for a really long time. So just even our forms, it's really nice to be able to be in an environment to do our forms more often.
Practice of form is a valuable practice. In terms of outreach, feel free to talk to your friends and invite them. At our last day-long retreat, we had people attending who were acquaintances, were friends. They were not necessarily members of our Sangha. It was really nice to have them there for the day. What is working for us? What can we keep going with?
I can answer that. I think that our guiding teachers are absolutely best offerings, and we should do everything possible to support both of them. I think our teachers are our most important offerings to the community.
I agree, and I feel like what really works for me is the Dharma talks, and I know that's really difficult. I'm glad we're going to have more this year, but I know that's hard for scheduling with our teachers. But that definitely works for me much more. And I know this probably just is taboo, really, but I much rather come for Dharma talks. I feel just so much, I don't know, I feel like I get a ton more out of time when our teachers are with us than reading from a book. I don't know. I know that the books have good information for us, and it serves our practice, but I'm just not one that enjoys the book readings that much.
You know, second, besides, or I guess equally with our teachers, um, as far as what works, I feel for us, I really love the Sangha participation that we do. I loved our Noble Truths, the work that everybody did on the Noble Truths. I mean, no, the Eightfold Path, and I love everybody's offerings on the precepts, even though we do them, and it stresses me out because because I have to arm wrestle people that sign up. It feels like, but I really enjoy those. Um, and I agree with you about the books, except for what I really like about our books is the robust and interesting discussions that we always have around them. So I really think that as a Sangha, we are good at having conversations.
That is a very good point, that I never occurred. It just like, oh, light bulb. Just activities that promote discussion. That's yeah. I might write that one down. Trish, did you want to share something?
Yeah, so I agree. I really like the Dharma talks. They're a highlight for me. And I think that since Joshin and I know sometimes Shintai, you participate too, which is great. Since we're gonna try and have more of them, I think I think it might be a perfect balance to have more Dharma talks and then some book reading, because if we have a lot of book reading, then I don't think we always get a way to tie that together. But if we have Dharma talks, and maybe even if the teachers could read in now, give us a little input for the book too, that might be helpful. You know, if we read a couple chapters and then we get a little input from Shantai or the ocean. But I'm really looking forward to this mix of having more Dharma talks. I think that's going to be really energizing. But I like the book reading too, like last week was great. So I think it's just we do too much book reading with no teacher input. It's hard for me to make the sense out of it that I think I could if I had a little input from the teachers. But I'm thinking there's a great balance. I love having Meta Monday, which I haven't participated too much lately, and Sitting Sunday. I was doing that most every Sunday, and then I love having the variety. It's just perfect for me. So I think it's working. I think it's great to have these conversations, and yeah, it's working. It's going to keep working better.
Yeah, I would second what Trish just said, if I understood it, that a teacher comment on the reading that we're finding in the books, maybe not immediately afterwards, but within the memorable time frame after the reading. And to illustrate, Joshin commented on the fact that the book we're reading right now is one that she found valuable, and I think said why. Do I remember? At any rate.
I do think I really enjoy the breakout groups too, and maybe it doesn't meet as much as the purpose of our gatherings as other things, but I really enjoy it, and I usually find myself wishing we had a little more time in the breakout groups.
That's great to know, Trish. That's good.
And it could be that maybe the breakout groups, we say hi for a few minutes, but then maybe at some point we have little topics we just say, okay, let's give here's what here's the topic for today for our breakout group. Let's all say 3 minutes worth of stuff about it and then come back to the bigger group and say something.
That's such a great idea. I love that.
It's hard to orchestrate it, but I think it could be really helpful.
That's awesome.
Very good feedback on that. Yes, thank you.
I liked what Joshin said about membership. We don't necessarily need to have, a mega church. Doesn't. It's not so much about how many people as how, but with a smaller group, we really do have the opportunity to go deeper. So I appreciate that.
I want to piggyback off of what you had said, Teiko. One of the things that I really enjoy, I think I get a lot out of, is like when all of us do a precept, or if there's another subject and we have student talks. The one thing that works for me around that is even if we're only supposed to talk for 10 minutes, I really have to spend a lot of time prepping for that 10 minutes. And I tend to learn a lot that I didn't know before because I'm literally needing to pull out several books and get on the internet and do some research just for that 10 or 20 minutes of talk. So I feel like I learn a lot when we do that, when we're specifically assigned to a specific thing to talk and share with the Sangha. I feel like I learn a lot.
I heard that.
That's an assignment. I would love to see more student talks. That's something I think we could do more of.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, Teiko and Joanne, but I also find that sometimes that's what's sort of daunting for me, is thinking I have to spend all this time, even though I do learn a lot. And Dixie, I don't mean to be speaking for you, but I liked that whatever that was, the Eight Noble, whatever they were, I lose track of the names of these, but I thought everybody had a different style. And what I came away with is there really is no one right way to do it. Like, some people might want to spend a lot of time reading about it because they can learn more and they take more time talking. And some people want to just have just a few questions they toss out there and help people have communication around that. And I really like that there's flexibility in that. That makes me feel more comfortable to say, yes, I'll do something because I don't have to spend too much time preparing this perfect talk.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Mom.
was just gonna say, Trish, I agree with you, and I think when Teiko described it as facilitating a discussion, that using those words really helped me to not freak out about, feeling the pressure. So yeah, I agree. I think everybody kind of does it differently.
Well, I feel like that people are shy because we're so kind of indoctrinated in school world where you're supposed to give a talk and this makes you an expert in something and you're supposed to like know the meaning of the precept or whatever. And I don't think it's like that at all, at least not for me. I mean, what I like to hear is what this means to you, and you're not going to find that in any book. I mean, books are helpful for sure, but how it shows up in your own life isn't something you necessarily have to study for, right?
When
Or
you
be an
said that,
expert about.
Keiko, Yeah, I'm sorry, when you said that, maybe last meeting, that really was helpful for me, because you're exactly right. What does it mean to you? And it doesn't have to be super personal, but just kind of, what's your take on it? What's it mean to you? So that was very helpful too.
I'll say that what Trohan just said reminds me not to try to ad lib the 10 minutes of my precept time.
The phrase I like to use in terms of like encouragement to step forward and offer a student talk or 10 minutes on the precepts or the Noble Eightfold Path is just that sense of gentle encouragement or invitation. And it's not pressured and it's not expected. And so each of you gets an opportunity to sort of pause and reflect, and what am I ready to engage in? And notice if there's any sense of either wanting an experience to be a particular way, or if there's a sense of a small self that really wants to hide. And noticing that, like, work with that as practice. And then you get to decide whether you want to step forward and offer something or to pass this year. It's up to you. And in terms of student talks, if like there doesn't have to be a particular explicit invitation or a season for that. If that is something you're interested in, please talk to me or Shintai, and we can help mentor you through that process.
Oh, I'm appreciating this reflection. This is really good and encouraging. And I think I figured out as a kid that practice is where we're invited to go on a regular basis. Just trusting the practice itself. And the lineage encourages me because I think I don't have to spew out anything that I read. It's already proven. Why reinvent the wheel? It's like there for me, waiting like my teapot and my favorite dance, and the thing I can trust. Because the news of the last few weeks, I thought, I have to lean on something that I can trust. So I'll turn on my computer and look and see which precept has an opening yet, because I know the couple of things that drew me to Buddhism, just the actual words.
That will be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing about retreat. Because if, let's say, okay, there are 4 seasons, if we could do a retreat maybe once, like early summer, or people get busy in the summer. If it's an all day and available on Zoom, even if people can only do a half day, but it's a good thing. And for me, doing it on Zoom, just knowing there are people practicing the lunch ritual together, that's a good thing to know. I mean, I feel a part of it even when I'm physically not there.
Yes, no, indeed. And we have several members, that for instance, Peter and Chad and myself frequently, we're not physically going to be able to attend. And so that would be nice.
I have a question, and then it kind of feeds into what I'd like to see more of. So, Takeo, well, this is probably for the whole board. Is there, because I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts about the meeting weekly, going back to the meeting weekly at the yoga center. And I love meeting in person. It just feeds my soul. I really love it. And when we're talking about rent, us needing more money to be able to really feel stable in paying rent somewhere, finding a place that'll work for us, et cetera, et cetera. $25 a time, even if we meet four or five times a month, that's, $100 versus rent, or $125. Rent anywhere is going to cost us more than $125. So, I haven't been in those discussions for a very long time as far as what the board's talking about around that. But is there a sense that we are going to meet more, that it just makes more sense to stay where we are for a while? Is that even an option there? Is the calendar open that we can go back to meeting there on Wednesday nights? Could we in the summer go to that other place that we met down, where we met last summer, the summer before, outside? What are the options to get us back to meeting once a week?
So we could do that, immediately if we wanted to. The price is right. The, the obstacle to meeting weekly in person at the yoga studio is just that there's not enough of us. So because it needs to be staffed, we need it to be able to count on minimum of 2 people to show up, which we have. But if one of the 2 people who always shows up has something else to do, that leaves one person, and it's you see what I'm saying. And I mean, over time, meeting weekly, we probably get more people, but it's a staffing issue, really. Wouldn't you say, Monty?
Yeah, it is. It's a staffing issue, and then the problem with the stuff, I think, is an issue too. I mean, it's just hard. It's really hard to to lug the stuff there
I
every
mean,
week.
the main stuff is the Zafus and Zabutons, and as Joshin suggested in the past, we could just use chairs.
That's true. Yeah, we actually we did talk about that. Yeah, and so that might be something we'll start doing, just because people can bring their own cushions, and then we'll have the chairs available. And that would help a lot, actually. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I think we kind of just need a few more people to commit to coming every week. Maybe 1 or 2 more people.
Or even rotating, but it needs to be on a schedule. It can't
Mhm.
just be like, oh, I think I can show up. We have to be able to count on people at particular times. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that is what, even for me, I really need things to be in a calendar. Kim, you are responsible for this, to do this night. And that way, when I do have my calendar out, because I have a bazillion things in my calendar. And so if something comes up and I'm not assigned staffed that night and something else comes up and I'm having to decide, then in my mind I'm like, well, it's not my night to do that, so I could take on this other commitment. So I think it would be at least easier for me. Like, I wouldn't even mind on my nights, my staffing night, to literally come to your place, Takeo, and load up the car, so you didn't have to do all of that. And then follow you back to the yoga center. I just think for me, I just do need for it to be just like, when we're staffing at work or whatever, and then if I can't do something, then it would probably have to be my responsibility to reach out to somebody and say, hey, something's came up or I'm sick. Can you fill in? Can you go and help load up the car or whatever? It could be my responsibility to fill my spot if something came up and I couldn't do it.
I mean, if we had,
I know,
sorry,
I know it. My experience isn't shared by anyone else, but my basic objection to all-day retreats is the fact that for me, 8 a.m. is the same as midnight for you. You're asking me to start my day at midnight, basically, if I come to an all-day retreat. So that's part of the reason I don't go to retreats, except for, of course, sesshin, because once you fall into the routine, it's easy enough to keep up. And my favorite part about our routine is student talks, actually. Not student talks, sorry. Term student. It had the word student in there. I really enjoy those. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Thank you. No, that is good to know. That is, yeah. Term student, always good.
second or third on term student.
Something that Ruth Van said though that I hadn't thought about was, the retreats, if they're all day, but you really only want to do a half a day for whatever reason, it sounds like that's perfectly workable. And that to me might be a little more attractive until I get kind of going in these things. But that's what I understood is if it's all day retreat, you could still come for part of it. Is that correct?
Depends on how the retreat's set up.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay. You have to follow up on that and see what the retreat's purpose is and whether it's okay to do that or not. Makes sense. Thank you.
And this is really good information because as we start planning the retreats, when the planning's happening, it's like, oh, folks were mentioning half days, Zoom. Thank you for sharing this. Otherwise, the planning has to fit who's showing up, not the other way around. So thank you for letting us know that.
I'd really like to see a little bit more. I know we've talked about this for years, actually. Informal, a camping trip or just a great, potluck or getting together and walking at the park or going up, Salmon River and just doing that easy walk up there or something. More just community time for us to just be together and not necessarily be a retreat or anything, just some kind of informal gathering.
Well, I mean, would you show up? Would you guys show up if we adopted a road in Sandy and got out with the yellow vests? And
Yep,
that would be
I
fun,
would.
right? We'd have a sign that said Wy'East Center, and
I'd love it.
yeah.
I would show up for that if I didn't have to work whatever days are scheduled for our
You're not
hangout
allowed to.
time and pick up stuff.
Yeah, that's
The coordination of schedules is kind of hard because I have my knitting retreats and, I work still a little bit. And so we would have to know a
you
little.
only do it like twice a year. You could do it more, I guess, but have to. We could probably find a time twice a year to get together. I had a question about social media. I recently nuked Facebook, and then after I did that, it occurred to me that I took my Zen Center's Facebook presence with me, which never really was much of a presence anyway. But do we want to have some social media presence? Not Facebook necessarily, but there's others, you know. Is that something we would find useful or no?
Is there a way to attach some kind of social media to what we already have? I mean, I don't know. Is there like putting another tab on our Wy'East page that could be more of a blog? We kind of have kind of that ability where several of you kind of post like a blog post, but
Or a forum type of bulletin board thing?
yeah, instead of going back to Facebook, and I don't know what other one would work, but is there a way to kind of attach that to something we already have, like a forum, something?
There is the thing that used to work well with Facebook was that you could reach people that didn't already know about you. And I don't know if that would be the case. Maybe.
Do you know, have we brought anybody in due to Facebook, because of Facebook?
Well, we have for retreats. As far as regular Sangha members, I'm not sure. Probably not. But it is a way, like in our mission statement, we talk about being a presence in offering the Dharma to the community. And I always felt like that was an effort in that direction.
Can I ask about actually Wy'East? I mean, the name of the Sangha, how, I love Oregon and that we are where we are in this whole Willamette Valley and the mountains. But I'm just curious because I would like to know a bit more about that. And I don't know, I just thought if people were looking for Sanghas, that they would automatically find Wy'East. But I would like to know the connection to Wy'East is the tribal name, right? The local indigenous name.
For Mount Hood.
For the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Hood. I mean,
yeah.
I know there were many tribes in the area, but obviously it was because sometimes those names were shared by various tribes.
Mm-hmm. I think that we thought it was more descriptive than saying North Clackamas County and East Multnomah County. It was kind of a prettier name than that. but it describes the area, of our physical.
Yeah. Right, and I love that, and actually I feel that's I see it as kind of symbolic. I mean, just for me, I thought, oh, that is just so good because it's recognition of literally where we're at. Since we're on Zoom, open right now, I looked on the calendar, and I saw the opening for March 19 for Do Not Kill, Embrace All Life. encourage all life. I will take that if it hasn't been
Perfect.
taken already.
I look forward to that, Ruth Ann. I'm sure I speak for everybody.
And the reason I'm mentioning it now, because we're talking about participation. So if anyone there, I have access to Washington County, libraries. They'll send stuff. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi in the building isn't very good, but I can try and, podcast some things. And if anyone has a book they can recommend, I might be able to get at Washington County, because they put books in the post.
Yeah, there is a list of resources for the precept discussions on the website. Now, can I send you that link, Ruth Ann?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure it's there already, but yes, thank you.
Awesome.
This is a good time to plug our library too. We have a library. See, that's another reason why it's a good reason to have our own space. But I have our little, and that's actually a vestige from when we were at Mount Hood Hospice. We have a library of materials, of books. And I have a little bookcase in my house dedicated to our library. So I used to have a link to, I have all of the books cataloged online at Library Thing. And I used to have a link to it on our newsletter, but then somehow that disappeared. So maybe I'll put it back on our newsletter. And if anybody's interested in checking out something from our library, you can just let me know. And
you could mail it book rate.
I could mail a book to you. Yes, I could mail it, or you could come to this real library that I work at, and I can give it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Moni. I totally forgot about that. That's a great
Mhm.
reminder. Thank you.
And I'm still buying books for it. I mean, I think I have all of the books that we have, in our resources about the precepts. So if you're looking for a book about the precepts, I probably have it in our library.
I'm curious if Joanne or Nancy has any input for us. And just say no if you don't. I don't mean to call you out. I'm just curious because you show up a lot. And how's it landing with you?
I have a hard time hearing you, Takeo, but did you just say you were inviting me to say something?
I was inviting you, but I was also giving you permission to just say no.
Oh.
Not that you need my permission.
Well, as you probably have noticed, I always try to come in for the Dharma talks. I didn't realize you must have started at 7 tonight, and I missed Shantai's. But for me, the Dharma talks and the reading are both valuable. It just gives me a connection there. I love the discussions, and hearing the Dharma talks, doing the precepts, all of that. I do my meditation in the morning, and some of you know that I fall asleep during Shintai's metta. In the evening is not a good time for me to meditate, but but I always try to come back in for the breakout rooms and the Dharma talks and the readings and everything. That's basically what I'm here for. Buddhism is not my primary spiritual path, but it fits so well with what I do. And I love you guys, so that's why I'm here.
Is it my turn? No, I'm not it sounds like Nancy and I have that in common. I am not a night person. This is past my bedtime, but I wanted to come tonight because to listen mostly and see all your faces and kind of learn what, and I've learned a lot. The comments that we got from the Sangha. Um, I haven't met Ruth Ann yet, but Ruth Ann and Choan and Dixie and everyone that and Trish, everyone that's given the feedback. It's been really eye-opening. Really appreciate the everyone speaking freely, because when we meet as a board, we kind of go with our intuition of what we think would be interesting, obviously, but to hear it is a really good idea. This forum, and I've enjoyed it a whole lot.
I will just say that this just sitting on Sunday is perfect time for me. Morning meditation works, and it just works for me. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to say when I don't make sitting Sunday for some reason, but I'm around, like maybe I slept in a little too late because not, not early morning. I do meditate and I think about everybody that's sitting in City Sunny during the appropriate time, and I do feel that energy. So it is energizing, and even if I'm not on Zoom, I'm there, and I think about when I am on Zoom, it's connected. So I want you to know that. I feel that connection even if I'm not on Zoom. Same with Mondays. It's cool.
We have covered a lot of topics tonight, and I think it is valuable that we can share with each other just to get a sense of where everybody, it's like, oh, you thought that too, or oh, I didn't know that. It's really nice to be able to hear what's going on with other Sangha members. So thank you very much for everything you've all shared this evening. Does anyone have any last words? We're running up against the time. Jorin, what you got?
Well, I just want to thank you, Muji, for facilitating this and keeping it moving. It's excellent job. Thank you.
I want to apologize to everybody. In my mind, I was sitting here, I logged in probably at 5:30, and I thought, oh, I don't need to pull up the book because we've got forum. Well, I didn't pull up the sutra either. So I was scrambling trying to find the sutra. And so I apologize. Nobody had the sutra in front of them tonight. I am so sorry.
I don't think I think I need to apologize or something. Anyway, you don't need to because we really didn't let people know that we were starting at 7. I don't know how that happened, but certainly you don't need to apologize. Somebody does, but I don't know who. Maybe me. If it's me, I'm sorry, but yeah, we didn't do a very good job of letting you guys know when we were going to be starting.
If nothing else, we are flexible.
It turned out great. No apologies necessary.
Well, thank you all again for being here this evening and sharing your practice. As someone like Shintai might say on Monday nights, please feel free to unmute yourselves to say good night. If we have nothing else, we'll let Joshin go to work.
Can I offer merit?
Yes, you may.
We offer the merit of this Sangha Forum to all beings. May all know love, connection, and warmth. All Buddhas throughout space and time. all honored ones, bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, maha prajna paramita. Good night, y'all.
Good
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ruthie.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.